Most people think warming milk is comforting and harmless, but for adults over 60, reheating milk the wrong way can quietly damage your digestion, strip away key nutrients, and even trigger hidden inflammation. What's surprising is that even something as simple as using the microwave or boiling milk for too long can turn a once nourishing drink into a digestive irritant. As we age, our bodies produce fewer enzymes and stomach acids, making us far more sensitive to heat-damaged proteins and fats found in overheated milk. According to the Cleveland Clinic, certain reheating methods can reduce calcium absorption and alter milk's amino acids, especially in older adults. In this video, you'll discover 5 dangerous milk reheating habits to avoid and the safest, science-backed ways to enjoy warm milk again. Stay until 1. It shocks almost everyone over 60. Comment yes if you want more videos like this. 5. The microwave trap. Most people use the microwave because it's quick, easy, and always right there on the counter. But when it comes to milk especially, for adults over 60, that little time saver can quietly undo the very comfort you're hoping for. Every time milk is microwaved, the heat doesn't spread evenly. Some parts become extremely hot, while others stay cool, even if it looks smooth from the outside. Inside, those uneven temperatures twist and bend milk proteins like casein and whey. Once that happens, your body no longer recognizes them as easily digestible. Now, here's why that matters so much after 60 bounding. As we age, our natural enzymes, the ones that help us break down dairy, become slower and less abundant. Lactase, which helps digest lactose, and protease, which handles proteins, both decline over time. When those enzymes meet milk proteins that have already been distorted by microwave heat, digestion becomes a struggle. The result is that all too familiar discomfort, bloating, gas, or that heavy, unsettled feeling that many people shrug off as just my stomach acting up again. But it's not just about comfort. According to Harvard Health, sudden, high heat can destroy sensitive nutrients in milk, especially vitamin B2 and B12. Those are 2 nutrients that play a major role in keeping your nerves healthy and your energy levels steady. For someone in their 60s or 70s, losing even a small amount of these vitamins day after day can quietly sap vitality. There's another silent change happening too. Milk fat is naturally protected by a thin membrane that keeps it stable and creamy. Microwaves break that barrier, allowing those fats to oxidize. When that happens repeatedly, the oxidized particles can irritate your gut lining. Nothing dangerous in one serving, but over months or years, it may slowly build inflammation that shows up as fatigue or digestive sensitivity. Let me tell you about Margaret, a 72-year-old retiree from Toronto. Every night before bed, she microwaved a cup of milk because it helped her relax. But over time, she began noticing strange bloating, even when she hadn't eaten much. Her doctor ruled out any serious issue, so she experimented, this time warming her milk gently on the stove instead of in the microwave. Within a week, the difference was clear. No discomfort. She slept more soundly and woke up, feeling lighter. Sometimes, it's not what we eat, but how we heat it that changes everything. And here's the hidden science behind that shift. When microwaves excite the water molecules inside the milk, they create micro hotspots that can reach well above 180 degrees, or about 82 degrees. At that point, milk proteins denature and calcium bonds weaken, meaning your body absorbs less of what it needs. But when milk is gently warmed on the stove, kept below 140 degrees, or around 60 degrees, it stays nutritious, digestible, and soothing. Even the container matters. Many seniors use plastic mugs because they're light and easy to handle. But when those plastics are heated, small amounts of BPA or phthalates can leach into the milk. These chemicals mimic hormones and can interfere with natural balance, and because older bodies detoxify more slowly, they tend to build up over time. So what's the better way? Choose a small glass or stainless steel pot. Pour in your milk and warm it slowly over low heat, stirring gently until you see light steam, not bubbles. If you still prefer the microwave, Heat in very short bursts, 10 seconds at a time, and stir between each round to distribute the warmth evenly. That small act protects your nutrients, your digestion, and the calm comfort you deserve at the end of the day. Here's the truth. The microwave might save a minute, but for your body after 60s, that minute can quietly take away much more your energy, your absorption, and the peaceful ease that warm milk is meant to bring. 4. The reheat and reuse habit. After learning about the dangers of microwaving, there's another everyday habit that quietly does even more harm: reheating milk that's already been warmed once before. It sounds harmless. Many people simply pour the leftover milk from their morning coffee or evening cocoa back into the pot, planning to just reheat it later. But what happens in that cup is more than just reheating. It's chemical recycling, and your body pays the price. The moment milk cools after being heated, its natural structure starts to change. The proteins clump, the fats begin to separate, and a thin film forms on top. That's not just cosmetic. That layer is made of oxidized fat and denatured protein, both of which continue breaking down as the milk sits. When you reheat it, those compounds don't reset. Instead, they continue to degrade, producing subtle off flavors and, more importantly, oxidized byproducts that can irritate the digestive lining, especially in adults over 60. Why are older adults more affected? Because the gut lining becomes thinner and more sensitive with age. The digestive mucosa that once handled small irritants with ease now responds more strongly. That means those oxidized fats and protein fragments can trigger low-grade inflammation, mild cramps, or even that lingering heaviness many seniors describe after reheated dairy. And here's something few people realize. Once milk has been warmed, it becomes an ideal environment for bacteria to grow if it's left out, even for an hour or two. According to the Mayo Clinic, bacteria like Bacillus cereus and Listeria monocytogenes can survive mild heat and then multiply rapidly as milk cools. Reheating doesn't always kill them completely, especially if the heat isn't evenly distributed. For someone with a slower immune system, which naturally weakens with age, this can lead to mild but recurring stomach upsets that seem random but often trace back to improperly stored milk. Take the case of Robert Charles, a 68-year-old from Arizona. Every morning, he'd heat up milk for his oatmeal, then set the leftover cup on the counter to use again later. By evening, he'd just reheat it quickly for cocoa. Over months, he noticed that his stomach felt unsettled almost daily. He thought it was just age catching up. But when his daughter, a nutrition student, suggested tossing out any reheated milk and starting fresh, the symptoms disappeared within days. The science behind that change is simple but powerful. Once milk proteins and fats are heated, their molecular structure becomes unstable. The more times they're reheated, the more free radicals and peroxides form small chemical particles that your body must neutralize. Younger digestive systems handle them easily, but for adults over 60, whose antioxidant defenses decline naturally, these repeated exposures quietly build oxidative stress that can fatigue the gut, the liver, and even your energy levels. So what's the safe habit instead? Always heat only the amount of milk you plan to drink. Store the rest in the refrigerator, sealed and chilled, if you might use it later. And never reheat milk more than once. If it's been sitting out for more than 2 hours, it's safer and wiser to let it go. Here's the bottom line. Fresh warmth nourishes, but recycled heat depletes. For your body after 60, every fresh start matters, even in something as simple as a cup of milk. 3. Boiling too long. Now, let's move into another habit that looks perfectly innocent yet quietly strips milk of its best gifts: boiling it for too long. Many of us grew up watching our parents heat milk until it bubbled over. It felt like proof that the milk was really clean or fully cooked. But when milk boils hard, it isn't being purified, it's being weakened. Here's what really happens. The moment milk reaches the boiling point, around 212 degrees, or 100 degrees C, the delicate balance of proteins, vitamins, and minerals begins to fall apart. The bright white color slowly dulls. A skin forms on top, and underneath that, key nutrients start breaking down. Vitamins B2, riboflavin, and B12, both vital for nerve health, energy, and red blood cell formation, are extremely heat sensitive. According to the National Institutes of Health, these vitamins degrade rapidly when exposed to prolonged high temperatures, and once they're gone, they can't be restored. For adults over 60, that's especially important. As we age, our ability to absorb vitamin B12 from food naturally declines due to reduced stomach acid. So when boiling destroys even more of it, we're left with an even smaller reserve. That can mean fatigue, tingling in the hands or feet, or that foggy mental feeling that seems to come out of nowhere. Boiling too long also alters the casein proteins, the same proteins that help strengthen bones and maintain muscle mass. When overheated, they clump and harden, making milk heavier to digest. That's why some older adults notice that boiled milk feels thick or chalky and doesn't sit well in the stomach anymore. It's not the milk itself, it's the way it's been heated. Take the example of Jean, a 66-year-old from London. For years, she boiled her milk until it bubbled because that's how her mother did it. She believed it made the milk safer and richer, but she also found herself feeling tired and bloated afterward. With less appetite, her nutritionist gently explained the science that she was cooking away the very nutrients her body needed most. When Jean switched to gently warming milk until it just started to steam, her digestion improved and her energy lifted within weeks. The simple truth is this: milk doesn't need to boil to be safe. Modern pasteurization already eliminates harmful bacteria before it ever reaches your kitchen. All it needs is gentle heat enough to make it warm, comforting, and easy to absorb. So next time you see those bubbles starting to rise, remember, comfort doesn't come from boiling. It comes from balance. Turn down the heat, protect the nutrients, and let the milk stay as nourishing as nature intended. 2. Mixing milk with coffee or tea, then reheating. Now, here's a habit that seems completely normal, and yet it quietly changes the chemistry of your milk in a way that can affect your digestion, energy, and even your sleep. Mixing milk with coffee or tea, and then reheating it later. It's a common ritual. Many older adults enjoy a comforting latte in the morning, or a cup of milk tea in the afternoon. And if the drink cools, it's easy to just warm it up again. But here's what most people don't realize. When milk and caffeine meet heat, they don't play nicely together. The natural proteins in milk, casein and whey, react with the tannins in tea and the polyphenols in coffee. When you reheat that mixture, the bonds tighten even more, creating compounds that are harder to digest and less nutritious. You might notice a slightly bitter taste, a darker film on the surface, or even a faint curdling effect near the edges of the cup. That's not just appearance, it's chemistry. These reactions reduce the bioavailability of calcium and B vitamins, making your warm drink less nourishing than it once was. For adults over 60, that small change matters a lot more. The digestive system slows with age, and stomach acid levels often drop, which means it's already harder to extract nutrients from food. When those nutrients have been chemically bound by heat and caffeine, your body absorbs even less. Instead of a soothing beverage, that reheated coffee-milk mix can leave you with mild bloating, acid reflux, or the heavy, foggy feeling many people describe after an afternoon drink. A Harvard Medical School review once noted that caffeine can increase calcium loss through the urine, especially when consumed in large amounts. When reheated milk compounds intensify that effect, the result can be a slow depletion of calcium, something no one over 60 can afford to overlook. Let's make that real. George, a 70-year-old retiree in Melbourne, loved his mid-morning tea with milk. He'd sip half, set it aside, and reheat the rest later. Over time, he noticed mild heartburn and less restful sleep. His doctor advised him to drink it fresh and avoid reheating. Within a week, the discomfort eased, and surprisingly, his afternoon energy returned. Sometimes the solution is that simple. If you love your tea or coffee with milk, keep the warmth gentle and one time only. Brew your drink fresh. Stir in warm milk just before drinking, and skip reheating altogether. Or better yet, use milk alternatives that are more heat stable, like oat or almond milk. Warmed once and consumed right away. Here's the quiet truth. Warmth should comfort, not compromise. When you mix caffeine and milk, then reheat, you trade calm nourishment for chemical stress in your body, especially after 60. Deserves better than that. 1. Reheating plant-based milks incorrectly. And finally, we arrive at the mistake that surprises almost everyone. The one most people believe is completely safe. Reheating plant-based milks. Almond, oat, soy, coconut. They all sound wholesome and modern, but when they're reheated the wrong way, especially in older bodies that are more sensitive to texture and digestion, they can lose their nourishing benefits in seconds. Here's why. Plant-based milks aren't just ground nuts or grains mixed with water. They're delicate emulsions, blends of natural fats, proteins, and stabilizers designed to stay creamy and smooth. When overheated or reheated multiple times, those emulsifiers begin to separate. The milk curdles, thickens unevenly, and forms a thin, sticky film. That film is a sign that the milk structure has broken down, and with it, the nutrients and digestibility that made it appealing in the first place. For example, almond milk often contains added lecithin or gellan gum to help it stay smooth. When reheated past about 140 to 60 degrees, these stabilizers start to denature. The fats rise to the top, proteins fall to the bottom, and the milk loses both texture and nutritional balance. Oat milk behaves similarly. Its natural starches can gel or burn, creating that off taste and gritty texture many people notice after reheating. Soy milk, on the other hand, has a different risk. It contains natural plant compounds called isoflavones that are beneficial when warmed gently but can degrade under high heat. A study from the National Institutes of Health found that isoflavones begin to lose potency when heated beyond 75 degrees. Those compounds support heart and bone health, two things that matter deeply for adults over 60. And yet, many people unknowingly destroy them every morning by pouring leftover soy milk into a hot pan or microwave for a quick reheat. Let's bring this to life. Evelyn, age 69, switched from dairy to oat milk because it was easier on her stomach. But she had a habit of warming the same carton 2 or 3 times a day. Soon, she noticed the milk tasted off and left her bloated again. After learning to pour only what she needed and heat it once, gently, she felt lighter and her morning drink became enjoyable again. If you enjoy plant-based milks, the rule is simple. Treat them gently. Warm them slowly over low heat until just steaming, never boiling. Avoid storing reheated portions, and never mix old and fresh milk together. If you prefer to use a microwave, heat in short intervals, stirring each time. Because the truth is, plant-based milks can be wonderfully nourishing, but only when handled with care. After 60 days, your digestion thrives on balance, not extremes. So give your milk and your body the same gentle respect you give to everything else you've earned through a lifetime of wisdom. After everything we've uncovered, here's the comforting truth. Warming milk the right way is simple, peaceful, and deeply nourishing. You don't need fancy equipment or complicated steps, just a little patience and gentle heat. Pour your milk into a small glass or stainless steel pot. Set the flame as low as it can go, and stir slowly as it warms. Watch closely. The moment you see a soft wisp of steam rising, not bubbles, that's your signal. The milk has reached its sweet spot, warm enough to soothe, cool enough to keep every vitamin, mineral, and protein intact. If you prefer the microwave, that's fine too, as long as you take it slow. Heat your milk in short, 10-second intervals, stirring between each round so the warmth spreads evenly. This simple habit keeps the texture silky, prevents nutrient loss, and avoids those unpleasant hot spots that can change flavor and digestibility. And one final note, never reheat milk more than once. Never mix old and new milk together, and always refrigerate what you don't use. Handled this way, milk, whether dairy, oat, almond, or soy keeps its calm, healing quality. It becomes what it was meant to be all along, gentle nourishment for body and mind, a quiet comfort that supports you at every age. So, as we close, remember this simple truth. The way we heat milk can either take away from our strength or quietly give it back. Warmth should never rush, scorch, or destroy. It should comfort, calm, and restore. When you treat your milk with gentleness, you're also treating your body with respect, protecting your digestion, your bones, your energy, and your peace of mind. Because after 60 years, every small act of care matters. The way you rest, the way you breathe, even the way you warm a cup of milk. Each choice whispers to your body, I'm still here, and I'm still taking care of you. If this video helped you understand something new, give it a like, share it with someone who also enjoys their evening milk, and subscribe for more wellness stories, made especially for those of us in life's wiser years. And as always, this video is for education only, not medical advice. If you ever have concerns about your diet or digestion, talk with your healthcare provider. Stay gentle, stay curious, and stay well.